Hi everyone, this video is going to be a little different because what I want to do is focus on the indexes. I got two new long positions tonight. NGLS is a super extremely high quality CanSlim stock. It's bouncing off the 50-day moving average. I know it's a pretty big one-day move in a chart where the base is not necessarily quite symmetrical. However, the earnings and sales growth is absolutely outstanding. All of the IBD rankings are extremely strong, very, very bullish, like 80s, 90s, A's, B's. And then it's also a few percentage points away from being back into the perfect speculator scan. But because of what I'm about ready to show you, it's going to only be 2.5% long position. Remember, we're still operating under sell mode. On top of that, TTOO is going to go ahead and be a 2.5% long position. As you can see, if we're wrong, we don't risk that much, about 2-3% if you have sell stops below today's intraday low a day. But big surge in BOP, very big surge in volume, strong end-of-day performance. Stock looks like it wants to rally higher. Remember, it's a health services medical stock, so if the market pulls back, it should do fine, and that'll lead us to where we're about ready to go. I'm also going to add a 2.5% hedge to the S&P 500. Very strong volume on the SPXS with another pocket pivot point signal. That's 2 and 4 days. With all the New York Stock Exchange stocks that were in my short scans, it looks like that this index wants to try to play catch up to the Russell 2000, which now leads us to what I'm about ready to show you. So first off, I want to show you the S&P 500 on this stock. On this chart right here, you can see that the oscillators are working off to an oversold level, but I want to show you that on a weekly time frame, we're not near the last two peak bottoming points, or much less where we were in early 2013 or 12 or 14. So overall, the MACD on a weekly is still very overbought. Same thing with the TSV. Now let's go over here and look at the S&P 500. On a daily, you can see the Wilders RSI and stochastics is getting near the oversold level, but on a weekly you can see stochastics well overbought, RSI still overbought. Now let's go ahead and switch it to the NASDAQ on this one. The NASDAQ you can see on a weekly. First let's do a daily. Daily we're getting towards oversold, right? 37.45. But on a weekly we're nowhere near there like where we were in our last point. We are actually still very overbought. And that can be seen over here on the weekly levels of the NASDAQ too with MACD. MACD is still in overbought territory, so is TSV. Now I want to throw up the NASDAQ 100. Look at TSV, still well into overall overbought oscillator territory, and look at MACD, extremely overbought still, which leads us to NDX on stochastics. Look at this number, 92. So this is either very bullish, which in that case we wait for a follow through day and we get long, or we still have more downside. And like I said, on a daily NASDAQ 100 we're getting there, but we're not there yet. So with the Russell 2000 breaking to a new low today, as you can see here, it's still holding basically the August levels. It's still well above the levels back in May and back in February, but that is the next logical area of support. You can see we're oversold on the daily stochastics and Wilders RSI, but once again on a weekly we're just in the middle of the road. We're not oversold, we're not overbought, so it could still get more overbought. And then that goes to the right here, the daily chart of the Russell 2000, MACD, TSV getting there, but once again on a weekly, while we're getting there on TSV, MACD still isn't there. So we're still dealing with a market that's overbought. Like I said today, the Russell 2000 has made new lows in this move. So the rest of the indexes might want to play catch up, but we are basically on the support line. So we have to see how we perform here. But the S&P 500, this is what I would consider not a good day. It hasn't closed below the Thursday's lows yet, but it hasn't retaken those highs before throwing up another distribution day, and that's after yesterday's technical distribution day. So a big reversal on big volume right at the 50-day moving average. NYSE already heading towards the 200-day moving average. Dow Jones Industrial Average still holding above, but quite a big reversal. We just don't have a really healthy looking market. If the NASDAQ 100 and NASDAQ re-break the 50-day moving average on volume, or their recent Thursday lows on volume, this could get very ugly, even though that we're heading into a seasonally very bullish time of the year, the second year of a 4-year presidential cycle, the 6th year of an 8-year presidential cycle, fourth quarter. It's sell on Rosh, buy on Yom. Yom Kippur is the beginning of next week, so the rest of this week could be very ugly before we close it out. It's just best to be ready, everybody. Cash is king. Thank you.